got a little bit of a drive ahead of me, because instead of a typical gym where it's, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, however many minutes, making a little bit of an excursion, because I'm on the hunt for dumbbells which will match my strength level. Because a lot of the, whoa, fire truck behind us, but a lot of the gyms that I go to, most of their dumbbells max out 110, 130. And it's like, what am I doing here, right? Because later on down the lift, I know what somebody's argument could be, right? You might think, okay, well, if the dumbbells aren't heavy enough, then why not just... I'm getting too distracted. But, what the hell was I even saying? Oh yeah, so the logic could be, all right, well, Sam, if you're feeling like those dumbbells are a little too light for you, why not just save your dumbbell press for later on in the workout, right? Like maybe do 2 or 3 sets of, like some kind of pull down, or what am I saying? Like Smith press, machine press, cable flies first, and then do dumbbell bench. Because now you're pre-exhausted. You'll be able to do, the 110s, and that'll feel enough. Which I like the logic. And I do like how much sense that makes. There is one issue with that thought process, though, and that's the fact that I don't think dumbbell bench, at least if you're actually trying to move a reasonable amount of weight, I don't think it's meant to be done in a weakened state. I mean, I'll have chest days where after I've done a couple of sets, I don't even feel comfortable doing another one of like incline barbell, because all my stabilizing muscles have gotten so fatigued, it's like I'm almost fucking shaky even just trying to do one rep. Never, nonetheless, actually a fucking real working set. So with that's another kind of argument for the machine versus free weight kind of debate. Free weights do have that wobble factor, which pro free weight guys, and this is barely even an argument now anymore, everybody knows just work out hard, but guys who used to be like die hard, like dumbbells, barbells only, they're going to say, okay, you're going to recruit more muscle, you're going to get more muscle activation because you're using more stabilizers to hold this weight up. All you chumps using the machines, the machine already has its movement path set out for you. You don't have to actually balance it. It's easier on a machine, which is true in a way. They each have their own ups and downs. But that's why beyond the first movement, I'm not really a massive fan of incline dumbbell later in the workout once I'm already a bit more kind of fatigued and tired out. But of course, that's not like a cut and dry rule. That's kind of just my thought process on the fucking matter right now. But as long as everything feels good, I think some heavy incline dumbbell bench to start, and then really go from there. I mean, I could see some incline Smith machine. I could see some machine chest press. Definitely some cable flies, as well as some pec deck. I mean, basically everything chest related under the sun, so I can get them as fucking pumped as possible. Then come home and rest up, recover, and do it again a little bit leaner the next day. And then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. You get what I'm saying. But all done. Or, what do you mean all done? All ready to get started. So let's, how about we just cut to that first working set. All right. Let's go nuts here. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Oh. One more. One more, and then switch to something more. Squeeze focus. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, okay. That's enough. That was actually too heavy. I only got fucking 6. But good heavy triple. Now let's squeeze something hard. What exactly it is? Ah, you did your cardio?
It's because you.
Wait a second. Tell the viewers. Wait, what did you just finish?
Cardio.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Incredible.
Yeah.
Now you could call this an incline pec focus stretch shoulders back fly, but I think these are just going to be the fucking Urs flies from now on. But let's get one here, and actually one notch heavier. But my main concern is I'm trying to pin my shoulders back as far as I can to get 0 front delt and all chest. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh my gosh. One more. Okay. Let's move on. This is the limit. 4 plates would be too much. 2 plates would be just right. May as well call me fucking Goldilocks in the bear den with a perfect 3. I guess you can call me LeBron with a perfect 3. But either way, I had to add a little buffer, a 10-pound plate onto where this sort of arm rests on the machine. Because if I sit back, I can't reach that deep. Feels like too big of a stretch. And honestly, if you have a heavy enough weight and you load it in a stretch position you're not used to, you could totally fuck yourself up. Not even doing a set, almost doing one. So that little buffer, or having somebody help you kind of unrack it, I would recommend it. But all I gotta do now is same thing, shoulders back, way back, and then just squeeze at my chest. And I'm gonna use the neutral grip instead of the parallel. Oh, actually, I guess they're both kind of parallel, but instead of the regular straight grip, because I feel a little bit more front delt when I do the straight grip, and a bit more chest with the neutral one. And that could be a lifter by lifter basis thing, you know, do what feels good. But let me pick a song and go absolutely crazy. Would you be surprised if I told you I was an NWA fan? All right. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. 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 Okay. This will just be a squeezing, burning set. Try not to swing, try not to do nothing fancy. Just big stretch, squeeze. And even though it does look like I'm hunched over a touch, I promise I don't feel any front delt. Because I mean, just think about it. What does your front delt do? It's pulling your arm up in this direction. A little bit hunching, at least in this downward motion, I just get more fucking chest. But I am still trying to pull my shoulders back in all aspects of my life. It's hard though, my traps are getting sore. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. 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 Ooh. Yeah. 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 Okay. Now these will just be bent over flies. Yeah. 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 Okay. Ooh. Oh. It's finally goon lighting. Let's see how the chest looks pumped. There we go. All right. So chest complete. I think that was like almost 9 sets. A little bit more than I would usually catch myself doing, but it felt kind of necessary at the time. So let's see if that increase in volume resulted in an increase in pumpedness, which frankly I'm not necessarily inclined to believe, but sometimes there's something there. But I mean, I don't think I'd be any more pumped if I did 12 sets instead of 9, and I don't think I'd be much less pumped if I did only 5 sets instead of 8, or anything else like that. I mean, it really is just kind of numbers at that point. As long as you can say to yourself, okay, I had a good workout, I feel my chest top to bottom, and I'm reasonably pumped, you are fucking cool. Done. There we go. That was a highly successful fucking chest day, but probably not perfect. And I've got a few reasons for thinking that. Number one, I think those sets of sort of, I mean, what I was kind of calling the Urs flies, as the second movement may not have actually been an awesome timing. I think I probably should have done one more heavy press. So I think if I were to go back in time and flip it around and do dumbbell press, that machine press, then sitting, stretch, focus, shoulders back flies, and then the actual, or kind of the finisher, kind of just decline, kind of squeezing focus flies. If that was the order I did everything in, I think I would have had a better pump. Not that I wasn't pumped today, but I think it could have been better. And obviously that's what I'm fucking aiming for. You know, I don't want it to just be, I don't want to finish these lifts and say, I want to really fucking maximize my time in there. Because obviously I want the gains that doing a really crazy workout is going to give me. I do have one small excuse for that though. And that could be the fact that since I'm not so full of fucking carbs and everything else, as sometimes I'll talk about how the pump fades a lot faster when you're dieted down. also gets a little bit trickier to even get when you're in a dieted state as well. As quick as it is to flee, it is just as elusive to find. So what I mean by that is, if I was fully carved up and pumped, I bet I would have had an insane chest pump today. And it wouldn't be because I did the perfect movements. It would just be because my chest is going to be filling up with blood and carbs and all sorts of fluids and everything else much faster and easier than right now that I'm trying to diet down. So what that tells me is that I need to be very specific with my workload and make sure that each set I do, I really do take as far as I can. And I'd rather go too far than not far enough. I mean, that's why I ended up doing that third set of dumbbell bench with that 150 instead of just the 2 and leaving it there, because I really did think I could get one more set of 8. Oh, goodness. I actually have an excuse for yawning right now. After that lift, I had about an hour worth of chatting with a couple gymsters in there to really get into a deep dive of the big questions, which is fun. It's nice to have a little social hour after you lift. But yeah, I think if I would have flipped those flies with that machine press and done them the opposite way, that would have been nice. But still a good workout. And even if I wasn't as pumped as I've ever been, that's not my goal. I mean, it is, of course, but what I'm really aiming for is muscle maintenance, strength maintenance, along with fat loss. That is my primary fucking concern right now. So, if I'm not going as heavy and I'm not doing as many insane failure sets, I'm not so upset. My training doesn't change much, bulk to cut, but the intensity overall may drop some. And that's not necessarily subjective intensity. That's more so just legitimate less weight is being lifted for less reps because I'm literally just a little bit weaker, not so full of carbs and everything else. But I guess I should really say the intensity doesn't change. I just start to let's just say a set of 15 may now be closer to a set of 10, depending on the movement. It's kind of a good explanation. Post-workout meal when I get home, unfucking sure. Either I got some lean cuts of some kind of steak. I don't know the exact name of it though. Maybe I'll have one of those with an instant pack of rice, because I've got room for even another 100 grams of carbs. And then one big meal like that should put me straight to fucking bed. I was sending a bunch of videos to some of those guys' friends. A lot of them were less than fortunately not doing their cardio, but I don't want to turn this into a cardio rant. So, plan for a full day of eating in the coming days, just because I think I'm just about in the thick of it of actually eating in a diet style now. Because I mean, that first week it was really just okay, have a breakfast, have a lunch, have a dinner, and then that'd be the end of it, because I just wasn't really that hungry. But I'm starting to feel it a bit now. I can tell I'm actually in the deficit to the point where I may have to start eating in specific ways and timing out these meals specifically throughout the day, not only to make sure I've got a reasonable amount of fuel and energy for my workouts, but also so I'm reasonably full and not just fucking fiending for snacks throughout the day. Because if I was, then there's no way to be able to stick to a diet. There is a certain toughness approach where it's okay, you do have to be able to tell yourself no to treats and no to extra food and stick to a sort of routine. But there's no reason to make that dieting regimen that you're going to do absolute torture. I mean, I just had fucking a couple scoops of Ben and Jerry's earlier today. Now, I weighed it out. I had 20 grams of carbs and 8 grams of fat, but still, it adds to my caloric load for the day. But to track it and then make sure everything's kind of within reason and under control, there is room for a little bit of fluctuation like that. But I'll try to get into that a little bit more in the next kind of full day meeting. I'll have a real subject to explain. But plan tomorrow with back, Pull downs, rows, pullovers. I think we all know the drill. So I don't think there's any more explanation needed there. But I got a little bit of a drive ahead of me. Didn't do the sauna this morning. I wish I would have, but I was in a little bit of a crunch to get back to the house. So sauna tomorrow morning for cardio. And then, oh shit. What day is today? Is today Monday? So, oh yeah, I forgot to do that cardio check-in. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll do another cardio check-in too. A little flat post-cardio pose down. And that's probably the best gauge for my just sort of overall progress looks-wise. Because gym lighting plus a pump plus extra vasodilation from having a pump pre-workout. I mean, it's a lot of variables that can kind of inflate how you look. This will be my finisher note before we go our separate ways. But try not to get too used to your pumped, craziest, natty fucking, or no, not natty, half natty lighting in the gym, fucking perfect shadows and contrast and everything else. Try not to get used to the perfect picture of yourself. Because that's not real, man. It's just a fucking illusion. It's cool, but that's not what you should be fucking comparing yourself to at all times. Don't forget, you gotta walk around unpumped 90%, if not 95% of your life. The guys who I really think are dying from the body dysmorphia are the ones who they get too attached to that 5%. And then the rest, they're like, oh, well, I'm not as big as I was when I was fully pumped in the gym with awesome lighting and, with kind of like a sweat built up. You just explained why you looked extra cool, man. That whole kind of complex of things. But if that's you, try not to get too attached to it. That's my only tip there. So I got a little bit of a drive. I'm fucking starving for this post-workout meal. And I can go to sleep knowing I had a good-ass chest day. So I think I'll just see you tomorrow for back.